A hike to the federal gas tax could be gaining momentum, now getting the support of the Chamber of Commerce. Chamber President Tom Donahue telling Congress that we need to raise the federal tax on a gallon of gas from 18.4 cents to 43 cents over the next 5 years in order to produce funds needed to fix the nation's transportation network. Let's bring in Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist. So, Grover, is this really the solution to fix our crumbling infrastructure?
It's not the solution. It's also not news. The Chamber of Commerce has been lobbying for a gas tax increase for decades, largely unsuccessfully. There are actually some interesting ideas. One, you could get rid of the Davis-Bacon Act, which adds about 25% of the cost. If you build a road, a bridge, or anything the federal government touches, it costs 25% more than it needs to because they have these prevailing wage provisions. Many states have gotten rid of their state versions of that. But if you want 25% more roads, get rid of Davis-Bacon. Don't raise taxes. In addition, about 20% of all the money raised promising you roads and bridges gets siphoned off into light rail and other things that only go to a few cities and often don't carry many passengers at all. Gas taxes should be for roads and bridges. You could have 20% more roads by not letting people steal the money out of the gas tax fund and use it for stuff other than roads and bridges. So there's a lot of money there. It just isn't spent well. Add to that, look, one of the things they could do is being put forward by a left-right coalition of Black Caucus and Freedom Caucus members. Take some of the loans. There are about $3 or $4 trillion in loans the federal government makes. But take $100 billion, sell those, and take the $100 billion and offer that as federal support for state and local roads as well. Doesn't raise taxes, and it has bipartisan left-right support.
Grover, isn't this the worst thing that Republicans could be doing, especially going into the presidential election? Because isn't this a progressive tax? Doesn't this really hurt regressive? Doesn't this hurt the poor the most? And then all of a sudden the Democrats are going to say, hey, listen, these corporate fat cats got their tax cut under the previous administration, and now you have to pay more for gas.
Elizabeth Warren just came out against the gas tax because it's regressive. When they had an energy tax, a gas tax under Bill Clinton, the Democrats proceeded in '94 to lose the House and the Senate. If you go state by state, the legislature put a measure on the ballot, Democrat legislature, to raise taxes, voted down about 60-40 in blue Massachusetts. There was an energy tax on the ballot in Washington state. Twice it got voted down. Arkansas, it was voted down 80-20. How many times do people have to tell you they don't believe for a minute you'll actually use it for roads, because they don't, and they don't want to see their taxes raised? It is political stupidity of the highest and most suicidal level.
Hey, Grover, that's a pretty tough label there. Let me. People who like this might say, well, look, we're headed for trillion-dollar deficits right now, so we really need to start thinking about paying the bills here. And if you do something like this, we've already come down on the, what we're asking of car makers in terms of gas mileage. This would help people use less gas. So it's two good things to come out of that. What would you say to people who said that to you?
First of all, the government told us we had to limit how much gasoline we used because we were running out of gasoline. There was peak oil, if you remember. That was science. They lied for decades. They were wrong. Science proved that fracking works, and we have more energy today than we did back when we were running out of it. So why in the world we're sticking people with CAFE standard rules to solve a problem that we know was a lie at the beginning and is a lie now? The government ought to back off, get out of the way, let people buy the cars that they want, the trucks that they want, and not falsely inflate the cost of roads, which the Davis-Bacon laws from the 1930s do, which siphoning off money for New York City's metro for people in Texas and Kansas to pay for. Yeah. This is ridiculous. There's a lot of savings. We don't need more taxes because we don't need more money available. We just need it spent wisely.
Yeah, Grover, it's Carol Roth. I'm wondering, in terms of the roads and the bridges, how much of that is intrastate versus interstate? Because it seems to me that this is something that the federal government perhaps shouldn't even be bothered with at all.
Yeah, you're entirely correct. The solution to this is to get rid of the federal gasoline tax, let it out to the states, with the possible exception of bridges between states. We've built the federal highway system. It just needs to be repaved and widened and all those sorts of things. And Massachusetts can do the Massachusetts roads, and New Hampshire can do the New Hampshire roads. This is not difficult. These cross subsidies are very problematic because you drain money from one state and give it to another state depending on how powerful they are. Let the states fix their own roads. We've built the federal highway system. That's been done. At the end of the day, there'd be a lot less corruption in Washington if they weren't handing out earmarks on roads and Texas was building roads in Texas.
Well, Grover, this is Scott Martin in Illinois, and that's the concern I have going back to the state level. Is like, for example, right behind me outside my door, we're paying 37 cents, yes, 37 cents, sports fans, a gallon in taxes here in Chicago. And so if you add federal gas taxes, more of them, to what we're already paying in, say, Chicago, Illinois, other areas, California, and so forth, what's that going to do to the local economies here that are already struggling under mountains of debt because people are leaving because the taxes are already too high and the business climate stinks?
Yeah, states like Illinois and California, as long as they can blame Washington for their failures, they're never going to reform. Much better to let the states raise their own gas taxes, build their own roads, and get Washington out of it, because Washington just takes it and says, we'll take 20% for subways or light rail or something that doesn't actually move too many people down the road and which takes up space that could be used for roads. Take the federal government out of it, let the states pay for their own roads, and then voters can decide whether they like local politicians looting the gas tax and spending it on non-roads.
And then the states will have to pay a price, because you mentioned a 20% diversion from the federal taxes, federal tax revenues. 20% goes to non-highway purposes. In states like Maryland, Connecticut, New Jersey, it's over 60% of the money that comes in goes out to stuff that has nothing to do with highways. So they would pay a political price then, no?
The reason they call it infrastructure is that infrastructure is a French word which means not roads. If they were going to build roads, they'd say roads, but they don't. They say infrastructure.
Good point.